Asthma is an interesting disease. There are cycles of sick again and well again, and during sick again patient is so sick that he is not sure whether next time he will get a breath or not. When he is fit, then he is having the confidence of reaching to even Mount Everest. It is very important to have a diagnosis, accurate diagnosis in such patients. I will be discussing an approach to the diagnosis of asthma. The learning objectives are why it is essential to confirm diagnosis of asthma before starting the treatment, making diagnosis of asthma, modalities or diagnostic tests, demonstration of variability, reversibility test and criteria of reversibility, bronchial provocation tests, differentiation of asthma from a similar condition COPD, and the concluding remarks. First issue is why it is essential to differentiate asthma or making a proper diagnosis of asthma before starting treatment. The reasons are simple. Asthma is a chronic inflammatory disease. It is often lifelong label a patient gets in early childhood. Therefore, accurate diagnosis is essential and to ensure long treatment compliance and health related communication. Majority of patients are ignorant about medical terminology of their disease and use alternative names like dama or sans. These names are used by patients suffering from almost all respiratory diseases like asthma, COPD, ILD, and even some patients of TB. The third important explanation is establishing accurate diagnosis and communicating name of disease in medical terminology to the patients are essential first basic steps of asthma treatment. A patient should speak asthma in order to defeat asthma. How can we make diagnosis of asthma? It can be in two steps. In the first step, suspect, and then in second step, confirm. We suspect asthma on basis of some symptomatology, presence of two or more symptoms out of cough, wheeze, dyspnea and chest tightness. Then if there is variability in symptoms, for example, these symptoms get worsen during night time and get better during daytime, variability of symptoms and intensity of these symptoms is important feature of asthma. Symptoms aggravated after viral infections, exposure to triggers like cold, allergen exposure, exercise and climate. But there are specific symptoms when we should not make a diagnosis of asthma, and these symptoms are when only cough is present without any associated other symptom, chronic expectoration, chest pain, breathlessness associated with giddiness, lightheadedness, tingling sensations in limbs, noisy inspiration with exercise induced dyspnea. These symptoms are present, then one should pursue these symptoms, and in most probability the alternative diagnosis will be there. Characteristic signs are wheezing, rhonchi on auscultation, and rhonchi may be audible, and that is characteristically said to be in asthmatic patients, but there are many conditions where rhonchi are present, so it is non-specific. Even in patients of asthma, many a times we don't get wheeze, and in such situation there may be forced expiration is associated with wheeze, and sometimes it is silent. Either patient is totally asymptomatic or when patient is having severe asthma. Examination of nose may reveal signs of allergic rhinitis and polyp. To confirm diagnosis of asthma, we use couple of diagnostic equipments and tests. These include spirometry, peak flow meter, exhaled nitric oxide diffusion test and allergy tests. Demonstration of airway obstruction and variability in airway obstruction are fundamental basis of diagnostic tests of asthma. These can be measured either with spirometry, and if spirometry is not available, then these can be done by use of a peak flow meter. Spirometry is performed, but since it is effort dependent equipment and test, therefore there are some prerequisites. The trained technician is most important aspect, and calibrated spirometry should be there. Patient should not take short acting beta agonist 4 hour and long acting beta agonist 15 hour before spirometry. These are some prerequisites for performing a spirometer test. Spirometry should be done with proper technique, because abnormal spirometry, the most important cause is faulty techniques. Friends, airways of an asthmatic patient are like leaves of chui mui. As the leaves of chui mui constrict with any slightest touch, similarly airways of asthmatic patient also shrink and constrict when these comes in contact with any trigger factor or adverse environment. And this property is used in diagnostic modality also. There are two situations. One, when patient is having airway obstruction, meaning by ratio of FEV1 FVC is less than 0.75, that is indicative of airway obstruction. In that situation, usually bronchodilator reversibility test is done. Documentation of variability is done with three ways. One, when patient is having airway obstruction, and bronchial reversibility test will indicate variability. In second situation, when patient is normal and his spirometry is normal, in that situation bronchoprovocation challenge tests are done. And in third situation, variability can be observed by recording FEV1 and peak flow during day and night time, and it is called diurnal variability. It can also be measured by observation of FEV1 or peak flow during 2 visits of a patient. How we can perform bronchial reversibility? Spirometry baseline values are determined, and 200 to 400 microgram salbutamol is administered with an MDI or through a nebulizer. After 10 to 15 minutes, we record readings again, and if there is 12% and 200 ml increase in FEV1 after bronchodilator, that is compatible with diagnosis of asthma. And if it is more than 15% and 400 ml FEV1 increase, then diagnosis can be made with more confidence. Similar test reversibility can also be documented when anti-inflammatory therapy is given for 4 weeks and it shows that FEV1 is more than 12% and 200 ml, or there may be increase in peak flow by 20%, that is diagnostic of asthma. Here is an example. First step is interpretation of spirometry after the curves are acceptable and repeatable. It can be done in 3 steps. First step, look for FEV1 FVC ratio if it is 75% or less. If it is more than 75%, look for FVC. If it is less than 75%, look for FEV1, and in reversibility test is done when FEV1 is less than 75%. Here you can see in the first step you can see that there is 75% ratio. If it is more than 75%, look for FVC. If it is less than 75%, look for FEV1. Bronchodilator reversibility test is done in step 3, and if it is more than 12% at 200 ml, then it is asthma. If it is less than 12% or 200 ml, it is COPD. On the other arm, there is diagnosis of restrictive lung disease. Here is an example. 42-year-aged patient had breathlessness. His spirometry showed 1.4 liter FEV1 before bronchodilator and 1.8 liter after bronchodilator. Meaning by ratio of FEV1 FVC is 50%. What does it indicate? It shows airway obstruction. And when reversibility test is done, then it showed 29%. That does mean it is more than 12% and 200 ml. Rather, it is more than 15%. So, diagnosis of reversible airway disease can be made, which is compatible with asthma. There is second situation when a patient comes and his spirometry is normal, he is asymptomatic, or if he is having only cough, that is, but spirometry normal, that is cough variant asthma. In this situation, provocation challenge tests are done. Bronchoprovocation test, the second category, which is performed when patient is having normal airways, baseline spirometry is done, and then bronchoprovocating agents are given in increasing double doses. Traditionally, histamine and methacholine are common bronchoprovocating test agents, and these are delivered in doubling doses through a nebulizer. The dose of these agents causing 20% or more fall in FEV1 is considered significant, and provocation dose is said to be PD20. Other agents are also used like mannitol, hypertonic saline, hyperventilation, and cutoff limit instead of 20, it is 15% fall is taken as significant and compatible with diagnosis of asthma. There are other tests of variability as well. Positive exercise test is done. Patient performs exercise, and if more than 10% and 200 ml decrease in FEV1, then it is compatible with diagnosis of asthma. Excessive variability can also demonstrated between two visits. If it is more than 12% at 200 ml variation, then again diagnosis of asthma is made, but it is conditional. Patient should have not occurrence of respiratory infection during preceding 6 weeks period. If spirometry is not available, we can use a handy peak flow meter also. Peak flow measurement provides valuable information in patients with asthma. Though it is less accurate than FEV1, only precaution we should make is the peak flow meter should remain the same, meaning by patient should use same peak flow meter during successive visits. Daily diurnal variability of peak flow is measured 2 times a day. Normally it shows less than 10% variation. If it is more than 20%, it is diagnostic of asthma. The index which is most commonly used is diurnal peak flow variability, which is calculated from twice daily reading as the daily amplitude percent mean, meaning by highest value of peak flow in day minus lowest value of peak flow divided by mean of the day, that is highest plus lowest upon 2 multiplied with 100. Exhaled nitric oxide testing is recently available in our country at many places, and it is useful in eosinophilic asthma. More than 50 ppb is suggestive of good short term response to inhaled corticosteroid. Allergy testing are quite popular, and it is important in patients of asthma in determining atopy status, and skin prick test is commonly used. Serum IgE measurement is an alternative, but it is not superior, rather more expensive. Identification of individual allergen can be made by skin prick tests, but at the same time we should evaluate proper environmental history with compatible diagnosis. How can we differentiate asthma from COPD? On basis of symptoms? Yes, cough, sputum, dyspnea on exertion, smoking on exposure to noxious factor such as cooking smoke, factory smoke, those favor diagnosis of COPD. In contrast, patient of asthma is having history of cough, wheezing, chest tightness and dyspnea, especially during night time, while it is on exertion in COPD. Negative history of atopy and late age of onset favor diagnosis of COPD. Test of reversibility will show less than 12% or less than 200 ml increase in FEV1 after administration of bronchodilator. Diffusion test, though expensive and available only at limited level, show lower value of COPD. Concluding the diagnostic evaluation of asthma, there are few points I wish to make. It is essential to make diagnosis of asthma before initiating proper therapy. Cough, dyspnea, wheeze, chest tightness are important symptoms. Variability in severity of these symptoms is characteristic of asthma. Demonstration of airflow obstruction in spirometry or peak flow is suggestive of asthma. With airflow obstruction, reversibility with a bronchodilator is diagnostic of asthma. With normal values of spirometry or peak flow, variability can be demonstrated with provocation challenge tests such as exercise, histamine, methacholine, mannitol, etc. COPD is a common disease which must be differentiated from asthma. Thank you.